Good morning, folks. My name is Joe Haranek. I just wanted to give you a little background on me so that you know who I am. I want to talk today about my new book, What are the Differences Between Socialism and Capitalism? It's on my website, and I'll give references later for that. But what I first like to do is cover just a couple little topics in there. For instance, like, did you know that Lenin had a 10-point program to get communism from capitalism, but that most of the points have already been included into the American culture? Uh, for instance, he wanted a graduated income tax, a private central bank we have in the Federal Reserve, free education for all children in public schools. That way the government can put their propaganda in the schools. Okay, that's on page 35. On page 44, did you know that the test for socialism versus fascism is follow the money? Nancy Pelosi said, we will know when what Obamacare is when we see the law. Who benefits? That's the question. In this instance, it was the pharmaceutical and medical care companies, not the people. So this is a prime example of fascism. With that, let's go into the book. I want to review it just briefly here. Hopefully you'll look at it in more depth at the site and buy it. Um, there is only one economic master question for society, and that is, how do you organize society such that the state as well as the individuals benefit fairly? Okay, two forms of that organization are socialism and capitalism. Let's talk a little bit about capitalism here. Capitalism is modeled after Aristotle's ideal government. It has individual control of his life and his property. An individual owns the factors of production and distributes the profits as he sees fit because it's his money. In the extreme, socialism is modeled after Plato's ideal government. The king emperor political party in control in China that makes the laws and the regulations. The king can override the legislative black letter law and do at times, and socialism's end game is communism, where there is no God, only the state as the authority has control over society. So let's look at some of the differences then. In the capitalist system, individuals make decisions and controls his personal property in capitalism. The state is centralized control and makes all decisions related to production in socialism. There are three types of socialism, which is not generally understood. There's the Marx Russian type, which Russia implemented. There's a German democratic socialism. This allows for production and prices, individual control of production and prices, but the government controls the profits, and they distribute the profits as they see fit. Then there's conservative socialism, which is a third type. This is native to Italy and France, designed to slow the movement from capitalism to socialism. It restricts both demand and supply. It controls the goods that can be used for supply into the manufacturing and the goods that can be purchased on the shelves on the demand side. It only allows certain prices on the supply sides. It only allows certain products to be used in components for manufacturing. This is the royalties attempt to keep socialism from advancing too fast. Let's look at a clear capitalist. A capitalist uses his own and owns his own private property, wants private control over all factors of production, requires the rule of law and contracts, requires a price system to allow calculations of costs and profits. Owner makes all decisions about production. He makes the predictions, the decisions about what should be invested this year, what to produce, how much, what colors, prices of goods, the wages he pays his workers, and how to distribute the profits if there's any profits left over. Okay, a socialist approach, they use public property, not private property. There is no private property. He wants state control over all property. State bureaucrats make all decisions about the production. That means a person unknown in place unknown, put in place by a politician, determines how much will be invested each year, what to produce and how much, colors, sizes, the prices of goods and wages, and how to distribute profits when it's all done. That's a socialist system. Today in the United States, we have a capitalist system, an Aristotle's form of government. The state is allowed limited control over the people for national defense and the police to enforce the laws. Private property exists and laws protect private property. And all men can do whatever they want as long as it does not impinge on other citizens' rights. If the U.S. were a socialist state, you wouldn't own your house. You wouldn't own your car. You would have assigned housing. You'd be assigned a job. You may or may not be allowed a car. There would be social report cards for social context of how close this is happening in China today. How close you are following the dictum of the politicians. For instance, today there's 400 million video cameras in China, planned to go to 700 million by 2020, and they have facial recognition, and all your movements are recorded centrally and graded with respect to, was this in the politicians' direction of best for China. Okay, there would be government stores and services in which you'd find mediocre quality and no alternative. There'd be arbitrary prices, limited variety, and limited supply, and there's probably going to be a black market, because that's what happened in Russia, and it would happen any place else. The people will find a way to get their products at a premium price. Big political decisions are made by the party in power, the king. Okay, Medicare, whether you have it, what's available, what type. These are decisions made by the political, not something you can vote on. This is your retirement benefits, whether you have any or not, would be provided by the state. Political appointees, you wouldn't elect anybody. You wouldn't elect your local town mayor. You wouldn't elect the governor. You wouldn't elect the regional representatives, your senators. They would be appointed. Okay. In addition, the government enterprises, like a government manufacturing plant, the managers would be politically appointed. You can't have you cannot have private businesses without government approval, so they wouldn't be approved. Okay. Interestingly enough, the Russians found that in East Germany, the individuals in charge, the general managers in charge of the manufacturing operations, were more politically astute than they were manufacturing astute, because these had to be political appointments, not meritocracy, understanding manufacturing appointments. Okay, you can get all the details in my book, the differences between socialism and capitalism. I worked hard on it, so I like to feel like it may make a contribution for your understanding. You can help your friends and business associates about you can impress them with your detailed knowledge after you read it, because I deal with facts, not fiction, reality, not dreams. I find out what's really happening. And when you get a chance, go to the site www.ravengeopolnews, GEOPOL news.com, and go to books and you can see a book there and download it. They're all ebooks, and get educated and have fun.